Tyler, there you are. No sound. No sound, my man. You're a music guy. What the hell? You're an audio engineer. Where's your sound?
I know.
Sort
Can
it
you
out.
hear me now?
You've got a mic. You've got a mic. There we go. Okay.
My dude, what is up?
Not much. 2020.
Yeah, right. Dude, Kristen, have you heard of Bruce Lipton? Nod if yes. He's a dude who's big in epigenetics, and you guys just blew my mind on a whole bunch of things. That was real cool. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
I would like to ask you about Freemasonry. I had
Okay.
my interview a few days ago,
Cool.
and they guaranteed me that there would be no shape shifting until the third degree.
I know. So what a bummer, right? Oh, to the third degree. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was like, man, three is a lot to ask, man. I'm trying to get straight to this. But yeah, man, society is crazy, and I feel like that is. I heard you say something to the effect of like, it is the tradition that American values are kind of founded within. And man, there's a lot of that
Oh,
stuff.
Freemasonry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Dude, like it's weird because like I felt super called to it for a couple of years, but it's like any of this other stuff. It's like you got to dig in. At least I like to dig in deep and feel like I have enough of an understanding of something as I can before I go full in. And
Okay.
yeah, so I had my interview, and I know that you can go Scottish Rite, York Rite. I kind of wanted to ask, like, as a person who is obviously aware of the things that I'm interested in, being that we're here talking, which path within Freemasonry, do you have a recommendation? Do you have any guiding advice?
If you're gonna do it, then do it full force to Master Mason, and don't worry about the appendant bodies. Because by the way, the appendant bodies are only like essentially footnotes to the first 3 degrees. It's not like bigger and better. It's just kind of like they unpack some of the symbolism. So the core spiritual experience of Freemasonry is the lodge, the Blue Lodge.
Yeah.
So degrees 1, 2, 3. And so what I would say to you is like, honestly, it's the same with the Enochian. Like take your time and don't even be, I mean, you haven't even been accepted yet, so don't even worry about that. But
Sure.
yeah, just fully, if you're going to do it and you do get accepted and you do enjoy it, like be here now, man. Like really soak in those first 3 degrees, particularly the third, because everything leads up to the third. And, masonry is considered, if you're a Master Mason, then that's the top degree. I mean, like that's it, right? Like that's the highest you go. The other ones are just like kind of like nerding out on things in a bit more detail. But that said, they're tremendously potent in their own right. I did both of them. So I'm a 32nd degree and a Knight Templar, but this is a while ago now, and I thought they were both profound. And of course, I'm not going to say more about it than that. But what I would say to you is the core experience, the thing that changes you is the Master Mason degree. And that's the main event.
That's good to hear, man. Because it's like I have a feeling that I want to scratch the itch of going to that degree with it. I was looking kind of at Scottish Rite, but just to have that kind of grounding mentality of like this is all essentially extracurricular for real. Like, man,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the craft degrees are that operate on you the deepest. I mean, it's like, but I mean, in general, I mean, like, if you're interested in Kabbalah, Hermetics, and anything like the Golden Dawn, that's Scottish Rite. York Rite is Christian, so you have to be Christian to join, right? And but the York Rite starts out with the Royal Arch degree, which in England is part of the craft degree. So what a lot of people do is like, so what I mean by that is, in England, when you become a Mason, you go through the first 3 degrees, and then you go through the 4th degree, which is the Royal Arch degree. And those are all mandatory. In the US, and also, by the way, in Europe, like you have to wait like a year between every degree all the way up to the 32nd. Like it's like a full initiatory order. Here, they basically give it to you all at once.
Right.
And in one big thing. So it's slightly different. But hey, cool. And so in Europe they do the first four. So what a lot of people do is, even if they don't profess Christianity, you don't have to be Christian to do the Royal Arch degree of the York. So in America, they took the Royal Arch degree and put it in the York Rite. So the York Rite is actually 3 levels. There's the Royal Arch, there's a Cryptic Lodge, and then at the end there's the Knights Templar, the Commandery, right? And not everyone goes through all 3. So what a lot of guys do here, for instance, is they go through the first 3 degrees and then they go do the Royal Arch. Like a lot of Jewish Masons that I know just do that and don't go further because they don't want to do the Christian stuff.
Sure.
And then they'll do Scottish Rite after that, and that's a good way to do it, essentially, because the Royal Arch kind of completes the story of the first 3 craft degrees.
Dude, that is so cool. Like the whole thing. Like I've been so enamored with it for so long. To have somebody break it down in that way and kind of ground it is really great. It just feels like I know there's so much crazy shit when you read online. I've heard you say people are way too conspiratorial about that shit, and now especially being into what I'm into, like it's crazy to read conspiracy theories about it now, because it's like, dude, if you guys had a couple pieces of like, yeah, it's craziness.
Did you go to the lodge and meet people?
Yeah, so I wanted to tell you this. The first so I've been twice. I went the first time, and they invited me back. The first time, I maybe this is like my internet culture coming out, but I was maybe a little boorish about what I said. I was very open. I was like, I'm a member of Amorc Rosicrucian Order, and I practice the Golden Dawn system, and I'm extremely interested in the Western esoteric tradition. One of the guys was like, "Oh, you know about some of the related bodies." I was like, "Okay," because it's actually, man, I don't mean to go on a whole elaborate story, but 2 years ago, my girlfriend and I were working. We have a business. We were working a booth that was held at the Masonic Temple. I was reading the Kabbalion for the first time, and randomly, this guy named Fred, his wife, came up to our booth, and he's a member of the lodge. She came up and was like, she started talking to us randomly, and she was like, "Would you like to have a tour of the house?" And I had been kind of staring at it the whole time, like wanting to see it. Long story short, I went in the last time and explained what my interests were, and they offered me a petition then, but I just didn't feel like I knew enough about it at the time to go forward with it. And then when I went back, and this was like 2 weeks ago, I said those things, and the guy was very receptive, and I spoke to a few of the dudes, and they were all very receptive. Like, it was cool because I went in real nervous, and I came out feeling like I fucking nailed that shit. and they called me back, and I had another conversation, and I walked away with the same feeling. Like, they were like, "Hey, we'll give you extra points if you know how to play the piano."
There you go.
Like, I already know. I know. I would not call myself a piano player, but I play enough piano to write music, so it's kind of a incentive to get back into that. But yeah, it felt good to go and at least be able to put it out there what my interests were and to have that received, because I just don't like I understand the secrecy and the treasure hunt aspect, but I don't like the getting lost in, that's why I think you're the fucking man.
Because I'm lost.
No, because you're the opposite, dude. First of all, the anti-guru stance is like my favorite shit, where it's like, "Hey man, I'm just doing my shit. If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool." But also too, no, because it's the opposite. It's like you're the reverse engine. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I picture you as a dude who has reverse engineered a lot of shit. And that's my favorite part, because you're so well versed in many of these different traditions, so many of them that you can. My favorite part is being able to come to you for the punchline, or at least what I perceive to be the punchline, and work my way back from there.
That makes me a stand-up comic.
Aren't we all?
H.P. Lovecraft said that the universe is a practical joke on behalf of the infinite at the expense of the individual, which I think
dude.
True, it's never said, something like that. I'll say this about Freemasonry, right? You got to make your own experience. What I mean by that is this: you got to go into it making it your own magical experience. Like, do it as a fucking sacred quest. because here's the deal. Masonry is a real magical order. Like, you will have actual soul transformations from being in it, but not shapeshifting. The tagline is, we take good men and make them better. It's true, right? It works. So the deal with it is that generationally, and you probably know some of this, but I might as well repeat it for the people on the call. Generationally speaking, all of the greatest generation joined the Freemasons because fraternal orders were a big deal in American society before TV, and they also wanted to maintain their sense of camaraderie after coming back from the war. By and large, they were not interested in esoterics at all. The baby boomers did not join Freemasonry. I don't think one joined Freemasonry until later, because they were basically like, fuck the man, I don't like authority, I don't like structures. Like, that was their whole deal, was being like suspicious of. It's really funny. Like baby boomers were like all suspicious of groups and group things, but they all believe exactly the same thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just like, okay, guys. But no, it's too trendy to be harsh on boomers. They did a lot. So and are still doing a lot. The millennials. So here's the deal: millennials like generationally, like structure. They like, and most of all, they like the idea of working within systems to make the world a better place, instead of being nonstop anti-authoritarian at times. And that may have changed, but that's generally the thing on millennials, is that they, or excuse me, let me put this better. Millennials are very much about service, right? And across the board, and myself too. I mean, I'm not exactly a millennial, but close enough. And the Masons, the Freemasonry is a service-based organization. At the core, that's what they do. They do good work service in the community, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of millennials join, but so the thing about the millennials is the millennials are all interested in the esoteric shit. So what you have in Masonic lodges is millennials being like, dude, Rosicrucianism, fucking like shapeshifting, like, dude, bro, like, can I, like, fucking Kabbalah and shit. And then you have like, like octogenarians being like, the steak dinner is $10. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like the Masonry is I don't even know what's happening now because of COVID, but it's very much in danger of dying permanently, and that's because there's the unfortunately, greatest generation is not really with us anymore, or it won't be. Baby boomers never joined, and now so it's really on millennials to carry that organization if they want to, which I think is very exciting, and and is a real opportunity, particularly for people interested in the stuff that we talk about here. Like men, young men, old men, middle-aged men. The sign of middle age is that, like yourself, like myself, you get really obsessed about like listening to high definition Brian Eno albums, and it's really fucking obnoxious. That's how you know. But it's like your balls dropping, but like it's the middle age marker where it's like, I must have high definition Brian Eno. It's bullshit. Anyways,
yeah,
dude. So that's a real opportunity for everyone here, because as I demonstrated in the John Dee book, like Freemasonry is the parent tradition of all of this. You basically, if you want to map it out, you basically get Blue Lodge, Scottish Rite, Golden Dawn, AA, right, and not necessarily. Actually, you get Masonic Rosicrucians, but that's a whole clusterfuck with paramasonic bodies and stuff like that. We don't need to get into, and never talk about that shit around Masons with authority, because they will kick you out for saying you're in the OTO or something like that, which I never was.
Really?
But depending on the spot. But here's the thing: like, the millennials are all super interested in esotericism, so I think that they will, as I did, create their own Freemasonry in a way. And Masonry is such a sturdy, and first of all, if Masonry dies, all is lost. I think in many ways in America, it is the esoteric backbone of America. And so I think people should rise to that challenge. And there's a real opportunity to make it into what it always has been, which is a network for young men to meet who are interested in broadly similar things, and who are interested in being better and making the world a good place, to meet on the level, as it were. That's critical. Well, that's what we need now more than ever, with the social media and all that. So I think that I encourage you to go gung-ho into it. And I caveat that by saying, like, make it into your own magical experience. Like, no one in Masonry is going to hand you any secrets. They're not going to, like, say, oh, here's the esoteric shit. Like, it's basically on you to go in and make it magical. Even if people, like, listen, like, you'll be in initiations, people will forget their lines, all that. It'll still work, okay? So it's on you to make it magical.
Dude, when what you said about
That's the
it
way to do it.
dying, 100%, I agree with that. And what you said about it dying, I was there's a podcast called the Masonic Roundtable, which is real good. They go
Okay.
into a lot of Neoplatonism stuff and a lot of the various philosophies that are covered. And the one thing that they were saying was something to the effect of, and this is actually before I had my the first time that I went down to speak to those dudes. Ironically enough, I got the email to go talk to them on the day that I watched this video. But it was saying that something like 96% of lodges are within a few years of closing just because they don't have the membership. And
when was this? When did you get this email?
Yeah, this was 2 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
I'm wondering if it's going to be a lot faster because of COVID. Because particularly people who are elderly are not going to be going to lodge because they don't want to get COVID. So
Yeah.
it could be decimating, and I think that. But that's an opportunity to step up, and so I encourage you. I've encouraged many young men who have asked me. Everyone that asks me about it, I encourage. I mean, like, I don't push it, but as they say, to be one, ask one.
Right.
Is it like fucking like, or like neon lights gonna go down, or like cock-headed deity is gonna come down from heaven, like, are you smoking DMT out of Crowley's butthole, all this stuff? Like, no. You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna go and you're gonna have steak dinners with old guys.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's pretty cool, actually. And
sure.
You're gonna meet a lot of people that you would never meet otherwise, and you're gonna get a lot of good life lessons and vitamins that you need to be a man. Yeah. And I think that if people went through Masonry prior to the Golden Dawn, they'd have a much easier ride of it. And by the way, Masonry, Scottish Rite Masonry, as I talk about in that John Dee book, it's also, along with the Golden Dawn, a creation of the Enochian system.
Yeah, man.
So, which begins to make more sense in the Scottish Rite if you know how to look. But that's a theory. It's not necessarily totally true.
Sure.
But yeah, and I counsel this about all magical orders, although I just don't recommend people don't fucking join the OTO. God bless them. But I do. Masonry is the only magical order that I recommend wholeheartedly, and I wish that there was one that I could recommend that was either co-ed or women only. And if anyone has any ideas, I'm all ears. But there's just something about, like, the co-ed magical order with people in robes that just encourages predators, and it's a bad fucking scene.
Dude, I know, and it fucking bums me out for myself and everybody involved, because it would be so cool to be able to do something exactly like this in person and not have to worry about any of the bullshit that usually manifests itself. And
yeah, well, as coronavirus dies down, we will eventually be there will be more structured things coming from Magic.me, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want to do my normal thing where I overpromise. So we're working on it, but the like safety and we live in a different world now, and I think people have very different expectations, and I think that's good. I think that people should not. It was fucked in the 90s. I mean, like, you go to a magical order and it'd be like two fucking swingers who would seem like pedophiles. Like, it was gross. It was gross. And I think we live in a very different and more aware world now. And, I've been working on with Magic.me is my attempt to evolve something that actually works for the current era. And I think it, knock on wood, works up pretty well. But people do miss the in-person component. It's just a question of doing it in a way that A, is safe for people, and B, doesn't like lead to people playing all these like hierarchical bullshit power games like grades and degrees and all that horse shit, or turning it into a cult, or like turning it into their own thing and then like wanting me to be the leader. It's like basically my approach to this is like, don't even start. It's like I can do that and make it work. I mean, it might be better not even start in the first place. So
dude, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I don't have any faith in anybody being able to make that work in any real way. I mean, Crowley said that, right? Like, this shit does not work.
Well, he did say, Crowley was a big believer in the OTO as a Masonic type organization. It's just, meant to impart certain things. But in terms of magical development, I mean, in individual magical development, he was very clear. It's like, you don't interact with other students. You know, it's like it's you and your teacher, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now I'm not actually teaching anyone. I don't make any formal hierarchical structures with anybody. As you put it, I'm just like, I'm here. If you want to ask me a question, that's cool. If you want to take my classes, that's cool. But I don't expect anything from you, and other than price of admission, and don't expect anything from me, because I'm just presenting the information, and I'll do my best to do my job. But I'm not doing like a hierarchical order where there's like all this like covert games and bullshit.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
weird.
I've seen this pointless. But people miss communities. So
yeah, and it's like yeah, and the community aspect, and also too, it's like the preserving of the tradition. It's like, I don't know what it was that fucking just really hit me when I heard it. But when I heard that dude say, because like, I honestly wasn't even sure, because again, it's like, I don't, my attitude towards all the order shit was like, especially from being in bands and stuff, it's like, I hate dealing with political, weird, snippy, snipey bullshit behind the scenes.
Well, the magical orders are not for you, because that's all it is.
I know, dude. I know. It bummed me out. Like especially too, like when I realized that a lot of this stuff wasn't like underground. Obviously, and certainly not in the same way.
Not in the slightest. At this point, if you go into orders, you will. If you grew up on the internet, and if like you're like taking classes here and you're reading stuff on your own, if you go to orders, you will probably find that people know less than you do. Not necessarily. That's not always the case, and I do caveat that by saying, there's a lot of people that are really good that join orders, but it's not like it was before where you had to join them to get the information.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and to that point, that's also part of why, real quick, when it comes to, maybe I shouldn't ask that. Okay. So like, I don't know. When I heard that Freemasonry might die, it lit something in me that was like, I don't know, man. I think I know enough about this to say that I don't think it should die, because the idea that
no, absolutely not.
It's like the idea that, hey guys, a lot of this shit is super subjective. How about we just agree to come together on the idea that if there is a higher being want us to make the world a better place, and call it a day at that, and then have some fucking chicken dinners, man.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And how powerful, it seems simple, but how powerful is that?
It's so big.
Because also it's a big deal. Like, also occult people will like nitpick the stupidest fucking shit. Like, oh, I'm a Dianic Luciferian. Like, go fuck yourself. You're someone who's into magic, okay? It's like, do you think anyone outside of this little subgroup gives a shit? They just see us as like weird fucking hippies with brain damage from eating roots, okay? It's like, look, honestly, nobody fucking cares. But that's like human nature. Also, it's like academics do the same shit. It's like, well, I'm a golden, like I'm a 5th degree Golden Dawn, and you're only a Wiccan. It's like, dude, like fucking. And what have you done? It's like, that's what I always come and say. What have you done with it? It's like, listen to all the people giving a shit what fucking thing you're specifically into.
Yeah, and we're all infinite. Fuck you, or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe not. But you know what I mean. The point is, if any of this shit is true, it's also probably true that I'm awake. Leave me alone.
There you go. So I encourage you in it. I think that. Yeah, and I have you listened to my podcast about Freemasonry that I did?
Yeah, with
Joseph.
Yes, dude, seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah, he talks about like, there's lodges in Israel, and like Israelis and Palestinians are meeting on the level, who would normally be killing each other and just talking. Yeah. It's like, it seems like a small thing, but the very basic hack of saying, if you believe in higher power and want to make the world a good place, and are willing to not talk about politics or religion, then let's all hang out. I mean, that's a big deal. And also, so like you have to really, and also people criticize Freemasonry for not allowing women, although there are attendant bodies that are female only and co-Masonic bodies. But it's like, what are the 3 things that dudes always fight about? Politics, religion, and women, right? It's like, it's like you get a bunch of dudes hanging out, and then like, like 3 girls show up, I guarantee you, like things are going to change in a second.
I hate that it's
So,
true, but it is.
well, it's true. I mean, we're social animals, we're sexual animals. So it's like immediately the competition begins, and it's not just competition; it's status ranking, right? It's like who, because dudes immediately start trying to display they have more status so that they'll be picked, even if they're not aware of it. So and it's just wastes a lot of time. So if you remove those 3 things, you essentially get guys sitting around being like, well, what do you think the universe really is, dude? Like, fucking, like,
Yo,
basically Joe Roganing all over the place.
there's a facial expression for it, dude. It's in the eyebrows. Well, maybe I probably get a little too deep with that shit, but yeah, dude.
So
I
there you
see
go.
it, man.
The other
That's
thing
cool.
about it is people are like, why are there rituals? This is why there are rituals. Have you ever seen a dude making a list of albums or fixing his car? Or
Yes.
whatever it is that he's interested in. Like men, very often by nature, are super obsessed with the minutia of structure and and processes and like lists and shit like that. And it's like if you give them something to do, it's basically like the equivalent of giving them a cup to hold at a party, where they're like, oh, good, I have like something to do, and like I have a job and a role, and there's a structure in it. That's also super important for guys, So it's like all that stuff is taken care of and it never changes. So that also takes a lot of stress off. And so basically what you end up with is guys who are not arguing, who have their deep-seated need for structure and formality and whatever it is, rules satisfied, so they can just kind of hang out without being anxious. And that's really, it's really cool.
Yeah, well, and to be honest with you, one of the main reasons, then one of the main things that creeped me out about Freemasonry in the very beginning was obviously it not being co-ed. It's like, well, what is this old-timey bullshit? But obviously, you go through a couple of those experiences where, and obviously people can be attracted to whoever, but you go through a couple of those experiences where it's like all of a sudden something that was cool just because of the competitive urge that's in, I guess, all people, but like it can really ruin shit. It's I've been in several co-ed bands, and like some of them go super well and everyone's real close and it's cool, and some of it is colossal bullshit.
Well, bands in general, right? But yeah. I mean, I think that it's a fascinating social structure, I think, and it doesn't have anything to do with misogyny or keeping women out or things like that. It's essentially like A, it's a men's group, and B, there are many things in place to just have it be a space for essentially mentorship between men in a way that is not where a lot of the normal stressors of society are taken out. And because of that, people from totally different walks of life can meet and have profound conversations where it's like, was it Teddy Roosevelt or somebody, like some of these presidents said their greatest achievement is becoming Master Mason, not becoming president of the US. And I believe it, right? But you can have like, a guy like Teddy Roosevelt and his gardener, I think actually literally were both Masons and both met completely as equals in the lodge, right? And so it's like you can't find that anywhere in society. And it's those type of things and the conversations that come out of them that we need, and we need to be able to understand ourselves as human beings. We need to be able to understand each other and meet each other we can't even talk to each other now without trying to destroy the other person like it's a video game. It's awful. It's the collapse of the fabric of society in a way. So we need it more than ever. And so I just encourage you to do it.
Dude, and watching people argue, man, online, when I went down there, and he said something similar to me. He was like, if the president of the United States comes in here, he is brother. He's not Mr. President. Like, there's none of that shit in here. That's great. That's cool, man.
It's true. Also, it really is true. All right, man. Well, I think I've done 2 hours. Is anyone left on the shit? We got 2 people.
Yeah, I'll let you go, brother. Have a good day.
All right. Good luck with it.